Okay, so this is the second video on college app anxiety, and I'm going to talk a little psychology here. If you're really stressed out and you don't know what to think and you're kind of confused and your parents are driving you crazy, this is going to help a lot. Okay, so pay attention. Now, I made a PDF of all these points. So if you send an email to us at mentors@ivyzen.net, we will send that PDF to you for free. You can just hold it and have it as a guide. Every time, like during the day or night, you get stressed out, you can just take it out and read it. I've done this throughout my entire life. So I have a lot of practice with this. Okay, number one, here's what you need to understand. So far in your entire life, you've been dealing with difficult but very simple tasks and challenges, okay? School is very different from real life in that in school, it's clearly defined what you need to do to get an A. Yes, you have bad teachers who change the standards and get subjective and all that, but they're violating something, right? If you work hard, you do A, B, C, and D that the teacher wants, then you get an A. That's the rule, right? There's a guideline for that. There's a rule. There are rules for that. In real life, and specifically college apps, there's no rule like that. There's no guidance. There's no rubric for how you're going to get into these colleges. You could be the perfect student, and we all know friends, family who were perfect, number one valedictorian, and they didn't get into the top colleges, right? We know generally what colleges are looking for because we're in the industry and we have a lot of ways that we research this and find out. But even then, there's no 100%, okay? There's no guarantees. So basically, the reason you feel so much stress and anxiety is that this is the first time in your life, probably, there may have been some exceptions. This is the first time in your life where you're dealing with uncertainty. Okay? Uncertainty is a situation where you don't know exactly what you need to do to get what you want. Okay? And life is like this. So it's kind of your first brush, real brush with life. Okay. So you have to be a little kind to yourself and remember that a lot of this is out of your hands. A lot of it is out of your control. And we talk with parents and students about this all the time. There are no guarantees. There's no certainty. I think nowadays parents kind of understand that, and so they don't put too much pressure on their kids. But you'll probably disagree with that. But it used to be a lot worse. Okay. But anyway, so just remember that. Now, how do you deal with this uncertainty? Okay, there are a lot of ways to deal with it. But what I would suggest to you are a few different things. I'm going to give you a lot of different hints, strategies, and advice here. The first thing you need to do is to focus more on the process rather than the outcome. Okay, instead of obsessing over getting into a top college. What if I don't get in? Oh my God, if I get in, it'll be so awesome. Just put it out of your mind. Okay. I always tell, especially parents, I always tell them, 마음 비우라고, like, empty your mind. In Buddhism, right, in Zen Buddhism, we call them attachments. And attachments are kind of what drives everyone crazy. You need to kind of, yes, of course, that's the goal. That's where we want to go. But you can't be obsessed with it. You can't be thinking about it all the time. What you need to think about are the specific tasks that can get you to that, into the college that you want, right? So that means for now, as I just said in the first video, you need to start working on your teacher recs, okay? So you should be all about that. If you find yourself ruminating and obsessing over college apps and getting into college and all this stuff, put it out of your mind and redirect all that energy and stress and anxiety into getting good teacher recs, right? You can break that down even further. I like to just make tasks and to-do lists. I make to-do lists all the time because if I can just focus on that, then I don't have to worry about anything else. And generally speaking, I know that if I do those tasks, it's going to get me to where I want to go. Okay. This is why it's so important to have a roadmap. And this is also why we call ourselves Ivy Zen, because if you do these things, you can kind of be Zen about it, right? And you don't have to be like crazy and stressed out. If you have a roadmap, you know what goals you need to hit, you know what tasks you need to complete. And if you focus on that, it's going to relieve a lot of the stress. Okay. Okay, so the next thing that I want you to start thinking about is, and this is really hard for good students. It was definitely hard for me. I was always number one in my class, captain of all my sports teams, and success, winning, getting A's became part of my identity. And anytime I didn't get that, I would get so stressed out and anxious and down on myself. And over time, I developed a lot of anxiety because of that. And it's hard to implement, so I'm just going to mention it briefly, but I just want you to think about it. Your identity is not wrapped up in your activities, okay? You can grow, you're going to keep growing beyond this phase, right? After college, during college, after college, you get a job, you get married, like life will go on whether you get into a good college or not. And then you're going to be confronted with whatever challenges you're facing at that moment, right? And every step, every challenge you face is it's really just simply an opportunity to grow, to become a better person, to become a smarter person. So this whole college admissions process, right, is not really about getting into college. It's just an opportunity for you to sharpen you, to help you deal with, this is your first time dealing with uncertainty, so it's practice. It's going to help you a lot in the future. There's a reason major corporations like to hire from the Ivies. It's not because they graduated from Princeton, like, is it that much different? It's a little different, but not for the corporation. The reason they do it is because the students went through this process, and because of that process, the challenges they faced, they've become a stronger, smarter, better person, right? So kind of don't look at the trees, look at the forest, and see, kind of take a longer term view of your life and where you're headed. So that will help relieve some of the stress, okay? Some more practical strategies. Number one, this is something that I still do to this day. You need to schedule your worry times, okay? What I mean by this is, like, if you're really worried about college app stuff, right? What you can do is this. You can just pick days of the week, and those are the days you're going to work on your college app stuff. And those are also the times that you're going to worry about college app stuff, right? All the other days, you're free from obligation, okay? So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday morning, up until 12 p.m., I'm going to work on my college app stuff. Teacher recommendations, my research, researching about colleges, all this stuff I'm going to work on those days. Every other day, I am relieved of obligation, okay? Tell your parents this, work on it with them. And during those days, do other stuff. Do your schoolwork, do your sports, do a hobby, get enough sleep, like, schedule those times. And on those days, that's when you worry about it, right? Another thing is that you have to understand something about like, when you want to grow as a person or as a student or as an athlete or a mathlete, like an academic athlete, there are times the way growth happens is that you push yourself and then you recover, and as you recover, your body makes yourself stronger, right? That's how muscles are. When you're weight training, you're stimulating your muscles, you're causing micro tears in your muscles, and then your body overcompensates and makes it stronger for the next time, right? That's the process of building muscle. And everything in your life is the same way. So, we just talked about scheduling your college app stuff days, right? Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday morning. Once you've done those things, take an hour right after you're done and just go wild. Take a nap, eat ice cream, go watch a movie. Do something where you can completely rest and get out of that mode, and that will recharge you for the next time. If you don't do that, you're just basically you're going to be chronically worrying and chronically stressing out over these things. That's going to raise your cortisol. You're not going to get good sleep, and over time you're just going to get burnt out, right? And you won't make it. You won't make it till next year when you have to, like, the most important time when you actually have to work on the applications. You'll be writing your essays and be like, I don't even want to do this anymore. You don't want to burn out, so schedule the recovery, the rest and recovery parts as well. Okay. The next thing that I want you to think about is if you're a good student, I want you to notice how isolated you are. Okay, some good students are good at not isolating themselves and being connected with friends and family. But most good students are not, because they're so busy, right? They're so busy. They're also really smart. And so everyone around them, they don't feel really connected to them because they're talking about K-pop, stuff, and you're listening to, like, your indie rock, like more interesting, unique stuff. And you're just looking down on them. You're like, I can't relate to these guys. And, it's hard to connect. Well, I'll say this: it's not comfortable, right? It's not super easy like it was when you were a kid. But you have to do it. Okay, I'm an introvert, and I am really good at isolating myself. I have a great time just thinking about stuff, reading, listening to music. I could take walks and just, whatever, but to a point. And then after that, I have to connect. We are social creatures. And when I'm stressed out or when I'm worried about something or I have anxiety, I have to force myself to talk to my wife. I get hugs from my daughters. I spend time with my friends. And you have to connect with people. It's very, very important. You'd be surprised. I don't care if you're an introvert. You won't be as introverted as me. I'm super hyper introverted. And it doesn't matter. You need to connect with people. You need to feel support. You need to feel love. You need to give love. Sometimes you just need to laugh, and sometimes you just need a hug, and you have to surround yourself with people like that. And in the beginning, like right in that moment, it's going to be hard, but you just have to force yourself to do it. It's kind of it's an investment of your energy and time, right? So you say, okay, I'm going to make this a little bit of effort. I'm going to go to my dad and say, Dad, can we take a walk around the block? I really need to just talk to you, or your mom, or your grandma, or your friend, or somebody, and say, I just need 10 minutes of your time. Just, can we take a walk? And can I just talk to you? Or can we just chat on the phone for like 15 minutes? The small amount of effort it takes you to do that, you'll get a huge return in terms of energy and comfort and that anxiety going away. And also, it'll just strengthen relationships, right? Yeah, so I have tons more tips, but these are like kind of the main ones. They really work. They work a lot. They work for me. They work for all of our students. If you want the PDF, just email us at mentors@ivyzen.net. And just a little thing about IvyZen, like the consulting that we do is all one-on-one. We don't believe in like trying to make top students like the top student. We try to make students as unique as possible. And we work with students very closely. We have all the operations. We have a project management software called Basecamp that we use to organize everything. But then each student that we work with is supported by 10 to 12 mentors, sometimes myself included. And we help students with whatever problems they face. They had a bad day at school and the teacher lashed out and you think you might get a bad grade. Okay, let's write an email and let's get the mom involved. And we do all kinds of things to help solve problems. The main thing though is that we really want to make the student unique. So we don't say do this, write about this in your research paper. We talk with the students and we brainstorm a lot. We try to find something that you're interested in, that you can relate to, but that is also going to be effective for college applications and is not like other student stuff, right? I think the problem with a lot of the way most students approach college admissions is that they read stuff on the internet, or even worse, they read books. Well, you're not the only one reading it, right? Can you imagine if 10,000 students who are applying to Harvard, all applying to Harvard, and they all read the same College Confidential article, right? It's not going to help. The game is all about being unique, and that's what we do for our consulting services. So if you're interested in that, or if you have any questions, we're very generous with our time, and we just want to help as many students as we can. Email us at mentors@ivyzen.net. Send us any questions you have, and we'll happily answer them as best as we can.